G'day everybody, Daz here from my Aussie Gardening Kitchen, Garden Edition, and just a quick look around at what's going on in the orchard and with all the berries and stuff. Oh, and it's the end of November, 2024. Let's go. The mulberries are finally coming to an end. I had a really good season this year. I've made pie fillings, I've made mulberry pies, I've made danishes and desserts, toppings for ice cream, you name it. It's been absolutely awesome. Best mulberry season so far. Much like a lot of the crops this year, I really can't complain this year. So grateful for what I've been getting. The passion fruit behind me is doing really well in its pot. It looks a bit sad, but that's because the dogs dug it up so many times and dragged it around the yard. But at the moment, I had a count and there's roughly 50 fruit growing on it right now. And there's still a few more flowers that are starting to appear. So I can't complain about having at least 50 passion fruit off a plant this size. My passion fruit container has a lovely marigold growing right in the front there. And then I've got this tomato. I don't know what type this is. That's a volunteer tomato that popped up. So, of course, being a free plant, I'll take that, thank you very much. And yeah, let that live with the passion fruit. In fact, it's got a couple of flowers just there. I don't know if you can see. Not long till I find out what sort of tomato this is. So this week I've just harvested my second tree of cherries. This is my Stella cherry. And I was in there this week in 37 degrees Celsius weather. It was such a bad day for it, but I had to get them off the tree. They were looking so ripe and the birds were doing their best to get into the netting. So it was time to get them off the tree, and what a time it was. I got so many cherries, and then I took them inside and pitted them. Now I've got a device that pits six cherries at a time. It still took me an hour and a half. It was crazy, but I've got them all done. I made a bit of a cherry sauce, which I should have showed you. I had cherry sauce on ice cream. It was so good. But anyway, I've bagged them up and I've got them into the freezer. If you didn't see my previous video, I harvested my Royal Crimson cherry tree a few weeks ago, and I've got those all pitted and frozen in bags in the freezer, and I've been enjoying those as well. Right behind me, you can see my Santa Rosa plums are doing well. Looking forward to them. And just here on my other side, I've got my peaches and my pears. They're starting to grow okay, and some of them I've already got in exclusion bags for the fruit fly. That's a fruit fly trap that you can see there. That one there in particular attracts the male fruit flies, and I've got another one that attracts females. Pink ladies are doing well, and I really need to get more of those into exclusion bags away from the fruit flies. My Lappin's cherries are just about ripe, and I really need to get those picked in probably the next week. And I've got an absolute heap of apricots, and I'd like to get some more of those in exclusion bags too. You can see the pumpkins are doing well in the grow bags here. Being in grow bags, they need a lot more water, so I keep a bucket of water handy, and I give them a bit of a drink each day. But yeah, they're doing really well. These Kent's pumpkins are on the other side of my yard, and they're just starting to grow now. No flowers yet, but I'm patient, I can wait. And also I think I've got a spare butternut pumpkin over there, just in the back. And then just beyond that, I've got two honeydew, two rock melon, or cantaloupe as other people say. And they're just starting to kick in now. And again, no flowers, but again, I'm perfectly happy to wait. One of my thornless blackberries that I propagated and put over here at the orchard is doing really well. And in fact, as doing so well, it's growing out through the netting of the orchard. And there's blackberries already appearing on it now. So really excited about that. So close to blackberry season. Looking forward to that. Grapes are going really well, and as you can see, I've just got bunches of them looking really good. They're all starting to get some shape to them, and if you haven't seen my channel before, I've got two varieties of red seedless grapes running down here, and I've got a row of propagated blackberries on the other side of this walkway here, and they're in season just like the other blackberries I showed you, and they're going fantastic. They're really looking good. I've been madly picking raspberries for the last few weeks, which is not something to complain about. Pretty happy about that. Both here in these garden beds and also in the alfresco, where I've got them growing in the alfresco entertaining area and climbing up over a little lattice that I made. There's a few different varieties in there, and I've got either summer growing varieties or fall/autumn varieties. So it's pretty easy to come out at those times of the year and start seeing where the flowers are appearing and knowing when I'm going to get fruit. This is just the start of today's offering, and I've got so many more to pick, and there's nothing better than standing out here, grabbing something like this and just going, wow. That was intense. That was so good. This is Arikani, and she just loves my raspberries. Whenever I'm over at the raspberry patch, she comes over and she knows she's going to score. Hopefully you can see this young lady through the wire okay. She's broody or clucky, so she's in quarantine for a couple of days. So about 3 to 4 days in the hotel with water, food, time to themselves, a nice open bottom where their tummies can stay cool, and she should be good to go, just like the others in a couple of days. San Marzano tomatoes. I really need to get these into the final spot. I'll put them in there to get a bit bigger. They've done that, so it's time to get out and into the garden. This grow bag of potatoes has finally died back, so I'll be harvesting potatoes once that soil dries. And I've got some garlic that's looking pretty close to being done, just to the left of it there. And then you can't really see properly in this shot, but I've got buttered up pumpkins creeping out and growing on the right hand side. My big container of marigolds is going really well, and it's about time that I start digging some of them out and placing them around the yard. This pot in the middle, I don't know what these are. They just started to appear in the soil, so I've been keeping the water up to them. I've been keeping them in the sun, and to me they look like a type of a chili plant, but if you think you know for sure, let me know in the comments. Just to the right of that, I've got some celery, some young celery growing, so yeah, I've got that to look forward to in the near future. So here in my entertaining area, I'm starting to harvest some tomatoes from these grow bags here. And of course I've got parsley and mint and spearmint and thyme and lemongrass and I don't know, bay leaves and all those good things growing out here that I can just pick when I want. And they're all still plentiful, as are the strawberries, lots of strawberries, best season. I've said it a few times, but I really am having a bumper year. Lots of strawberries this season and strasberries doing really well. Oh, and of course the raspberries behind me. I've got things like ears of corn and a few other melons and stuff growing in little pots down here that are due to go out. Got a few jalapenos happening here and on another tree somewhere in here. I'll be fighting my son for these. He was asking about fresh ones the other day, so he's going to have an eye on these, guaranteed. I've got volunteer tomatoes growing in these containers just over my shoulder. Not complaining about that at all. Free tomatoes, can never have enough tomatoes, and free of course. Who does not like free stuff? It's so good to be able to harvest fresh berries at will, and I am grateful for the ability to be able to grow these things where I am here, and it's great seeing the family enjoying such big harvests. And look at that, look at those strawberries. But yes, I'm so fortunate, I do appreciate it, and it was absolutely fantastic on my mum's birthday to go out and pick all the fresh berries for her cake and decorate the cake fresh on the day. Unreal. Thank you so much for being here. Please consider checking out this video up here, and hopefully I'll see you in the next cooking or gardening video. Bye for now.